it has been a little bit of time since I have been on stream. But today is the last day that I'm going to be working on these HKS customs. So I feel like the whole reason I started this channel was to just have a place to show up and to work. And so the first kind of thing that I'm making is these HKS, these Nikes that are a custom HKS based on the HKS livery. If you've been following along, you kind of know like what the inspiration has been. But basically it is a shoe that has been designed by my husband. So it's a collaboration with him. He definitely is like the sneakerhead as well as like the car encyclopedia and everything. So it really is a passion project that we've done together. And so the left shoe is pretty much done except for a finisher that I still need to put on it. But I have to wait to order and get a little bit more of the matte one because I don't want it too shiny. So this one is done and I did most of it like live on camera. I definitely haven't been streaming this last week. I had all intentions to. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. And I think that's one of the things that I'm exploring as well, because, you know, the whole reason I started this channel was to allow myself a space to show up and work, because so often I don't prioritize my own creativity. And I think last week was just an example of where personal responsibilities kind of come into the picture and they kind of take priority. And so I definitely, you know, was dealing with kind of balancing that out last week. However, I'm proud of myself. Like I might not have streamed, but I did show up and I did work because this is the right shoe. And so today, like I've gotten all the work done on it. And today I'm going to be just really working on the, so today I'm going to be working on just like all of the finishing touches with the shoe, but I do have footage and I did time lapse of pretty much everything I was working on. So even though I wasn't streaming, I still was keeping my commitment to myself to show up and to work, because I have found that like sometimes I just have to give myself a little bit of leeway. You know, maybe I set a goal for myself and it just doesn't happen, but can I be flexible? Can I adjust? And can I still, you know, do what I said I wanted to do, but maybe I just have to adjust how I go about doing it. So that's how I'm solving it. So I'm showing up today. It's an off day in terms of like when I normally stream. But hey, I'm here, I'm showing up, and I'm gonna go on camera and I'm gonna finish this up. So in terms of time frame, I think when I left off with the left shoe, we probably were at about 25 hours for the left shoe in total. This right shoe, I've clocked about 15 hours off camera that I have been working on the shoe, between like adding all the stencils, doing all the painting, removing. I already had the stencils printed from the last time, so I think, you know, it probably is gonna be around 45 hours total, maybe 50. Granted, that's a huge 5-hour difference, but I'm gonna say probably around 45 hours total for the pair of the shoe, like for the pair, to be fully completed, which I think is pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah. So I kind of just want to show a little bit of what's happening with this shoe. I worked a little bit faster, and so you can see like I have a decent amount of cleanup, right? Like you can see like right about here, you know, like it's not as clean. Like this is a pretty clean one, but there's just some areas that aren't as clean. I've already done some touch-up work to the green. But you can also see like there's some black that has come off on here. And if I just kind of rotate the shoe around, yeah, from afar, like it looks great. So if I'm all the way back here and like it's on my foot, it's gonna look good, but I want it to look like super pristine because that's me. So yeah, you could definitely see like there's just cleanup that needs to happen. So I'm gonna be working on the cleanup while I talk on camera, and then I'll probably just reposition. So thanks for being here, hang out, take a look. at what I'm working on, but I have to say, like, these are looking really, really cool. I cannot wait to wear these. Like, I cannot wait to wear them. I'm so excited. Okay, so give me a second here to get set up to be able to show kind of like what is happening regarding so this is the time lapse of me working on these shoes. So this is pretty much what I did. I don't know where the video went for like me putting down the stencils, but this is the second round of the green that I'm working on here. So yeah, hopefully this is good enough, but I guess kind of speed it up because it does take a really long time. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to just get my brushes and get my palette. You know, I got my palette, so I'm going to, like I said, be doing the touch-up work. I already did a round of the green, so I'm gonna keep going back with the green, and I am using the, where do we have it? I am using the South Beach Angelus for the green is what I'm working on here, and then what I'm gonna start working on detail-wise. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Again, I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Erin, and I like to make stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just been really fun to kind of show up and chill. So, you know, like I said, like this last week kind of got a little bit away from me, like home and life priorities and kind of things on the home front really kind of took a front seat. In terms of priority for the week, and I find that happens from time to time. Sometimes we just have to refocus our energy, and so I'm grabbing my paintbrushes. You know, sometimes I just find like, at least for myself, like I kind of wanted to like just talk about like the emotions that I was feeling, because I had really committed to myself that I was going to like do the whole shoe live stream, start to finish, show the whole process. And then this last week happened, and I wasn't able to show up on stream, and I had to kind of give myself a pep talk. So I don't know if you've ever had that happen to yourself, but it's just, you know, like I made a commitment to myself, and I had to really pep talk myself and say like, hey, it's okay, and just readjust my expectations of myself this last week. You know, I definitely had moments of like being angry that, you know, sometimes I feel like, why is it that like my artwork or the things that I like to make don't feel as important as some of the other things in life? Because on an internal level, like when I don't show up and when I'm not working on kind of things for myself, I find that, you know, I do get frustrated because it is a way that I process my emotions. It is a way that I, you know, show up for myself to kind of make myself feel whole. I don't know if you have something that you do that kind of just grounds you and just makes you feel, like the world is just sometimes a little bit more manageable. You kind of just get lost in like the activity of it. You know, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of like what showing up and making stuff is. Like I get kind of lost in what I'm doing. I just get focused. It kind of helps me relax, especially if I'm feeling somewhat stressed out. And so I think I was dealing with also feelings of like being upset because I wasn't able to show up on camera. So I'm proud of myself, and I'm going to consider it a win in terms of, you know, I still filmed and I still worked. I just wasn't on camera the whole time. And it probably was good because I wasn't like super negative. Not that I was having a super negative week, but you know, we all have up and down times. But I want to talk about that because, you know, life sometimes gets messy, and sometimes you just have to like adjust, right? And adjust your expectations of yourself, sometimes adjust your expectations of other people. And then it kind of just like sometimes reframe, at least for myself, I have to like reframe, why am I doing something, or why is this important to me? And so I had a lot of those conversations with myself this last week. Yeah, so the second pair of shoes, as you can see, I same process as last time, but I think I also was kind of struggling with, it's interesting because the first set of shoes, the stencils went on a lot cleaner, and this time I had a lot more bleed underneath all of the stencils. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because I was going a lot faster. I think I had picked up the pace because I am underneath a time crunch. So that could have something to do with it. Definitely. But in general, I would say that the stencils definitely help in terms of the time. And then like in the final stage, I spend a lot of time looking and trying to see where I can fill in, where maybe I have little bits that need like little coverages of paint. Because I have a very high standard for myself when it comes to the finished product that I put out there. And for some reason, when I was pulling up the stencils, I had a little bit more of the paint peeling off this time, and I don't know really why that happened, because I definitely let everything sit longer than the previous time when it came to like putting the stencils down and like really letting them dry before I moved on to the next, to either peeling them off or putting on another layer. So I definitely gave myself that time. So I'm not sure why I had so much peeling happening, but whatever the reason was, I mean, I just have to go back in and do like the detail work to kind of, correct those kind of paint peel ups. Okay, so that was, all right, so then after I let it dry for quite a while, I started to take off the stencils. This is a short video because half the time I was working off camera. Yeah. And then pretty much from here, it goes just off camera. So there's not much to see. So then the green is done here at this point in time, but you can see it's pretty raggedy on some of the edges. You can kind of see that happening. And then it just was putting on the purple stencils. I, for some reason, was just having a bit of a positioning, I don't want to say issue, but I wasn't liking the position of everything because as I was working, like they don't look identical. So if you kind of take a look at both of the toes on these, I think they look pretty good in terms of the way that they complement each other, but they're not identical. And like this right shoe definitely has like a little bit heavier of a pattern on it, but it's cool. But for some reason, it took me a while to add the stencils this time around because I kept comparing them to the previous shoe that I had done. And you don't want it to look exact. I mean, it's almost, for me, I can't like make them look exact. But I didn't want one to have like too many more, like, I didn't want one to have more color and like less negative space than the other one, while still kind of having them have their own unique look to them. So I struggled a little bit on the stencils this time around. It just took me a while. Overall, like I still really appreciate using the stencils. I definitely in the future will keep using stencils for my projects and printing them out because it really does speed stuff up big time. Plus, like it also helped me see exactly what it's going to look like to a certain degree. So I kind of like that about it as well. I also this time had a lot more of like the residue from the stencils come up from the sticky backing. So I had to do a lot more of like the peeling off this time around. So that was kind of interesting to be working with it that way. Like I did a lot of late nights. If there's any night owls out there, I definitely was doing some late nights where I just like put the tunes on or watch some reruns of like movies that I like. I have a tendency to do that. I'll just like rewatch the same things. I don't know. It makes it so I can feel like someone's keeping me company, but it's really just background. I'm a sucker for like Pride and Prejudice. I have to say, I definitely watched like Pride and Prejudice, yeah, while I was working on these shoes. Yes, Mr. Darcy. I think I probably rewatch that movie almost once a month. My husband really likes to make fun of me. All right. I think that's pretty much those stencils done, and then here I go. Yeah, so you can see I had to do a lot more of like the unsticking, and then it's just a matter of painting the purple. I definitely had more bleeding happening on the purple this time though, so it is taking a little bit more on the cleanup to clean up those purple lines, for sure. But there's something very satisfying when I come in here and like I clean up these lines, because then they just like get really crisp and I'm like, ooh, that looks good. It's very satisfying. Easily, like on this shoe, like last night I worked for, I don't know, probably about 2 hours, just kind of trying to touch up the grain. So yeah, I think like probably in total I'll probably be spending between last night and today. I don't know how long this stream will be, but I would like to be able to finish these shoes on camera with all the touch-up work. Then they'll be done. I mean, they have to dry and then I have to finish them, but they shall be done. But I did have fun working on them this week. It was different to not be doing it on camera and talking the whole time. I think that definitely speeds up the process when I'm not talking the whole time. Like no matter what you do when it comes to stencils, there's always going to be, I think, a fair amount of cleanup work, just depending on what type of surface the stencil's going over. So I guess just be aware of that, you know? Embrace the detail work. I do kind of wish though I had like magnifier glasses. I think the next pair of shoes I'm gonna have to get some, because sometimes it's a bit of a challenge. I need to see everything. And I am really excited to be wearing these. I can't wait. All right. Okay. Now time for the second layer. So I did two rounds of each stencil because, again, like when I put them on, I can't fit everything because of how the border, you know, that's on the stencil. So, oh yeah, you can see here, I think I repositioned the toe box like I don't know how many times. But yeah, so I did 2 rounds of the green stencil, and then I did 2 rounds of the purple stencil so that I could kind of position them exactly where I wanted and fill in all the spaces. And I feel like the shoe always looks better as soon as you take off like the tape on the bottom. It always just like starts to pop so much more when you can actually see like that beautiful white sole. Awesome. And then my technique for like doing the touch-up work is I tend to try to like pick a spot and start to work from there, because otherwise, like if I jump around, I'm definitely gonna miss stuff. So yeah. Couple spots on the green that needed a decent amount of like paint added, so okay. We are almost done. So then I did make my own stencils again for the red. So I did cut out with just electrical tape. I think I streamed that before, but I made those stencils. They're about 5 centimeters in length and about 3 millimeters wide, 4 millimeters wide, something like that. Yeah. And then something else, with the way I taped it down, I do have to go under the flap and just add some there. These particular stencils took me a long time to figure out because they're so visually heavy when you're adding this particular stencil, but then once you add it, once you actually paint it on and remove it, like the lines are so thin, it looks great. But I was constantly questioning my positioning and like, is this gonna look right? Is it gonna look too symmetrical? So I just had to add a lot more paint because I'm adding like on the flap. So when it opens, you can see the whatchamacallit. Okay. So yeah, so you can see. It's like probably, I don't know, I think I might wear it with the flap open since it has this cooler flap, but like I want there to be, if you lift it, you can still see the design and the livery underneath. All right, so the last time lapse of me doing my painting before it got to the final stages now of the detail work. These shoes have been so much fun to work on. They're definitely ambitious, I think, because of the amount of stencil work, but I'm super happy with them. I think they look super cool. I'm so excited to wear them. I just have to wait for my finisher to come so I can finish them. But I definitely will probably come up with like a concept to do a photo shoot and probably do like a video. And then I'm planning on making like a condensed version of the whole process, like on an actual, 15, 20 minute YouTube video. So that'll be fun. That's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that. say having a heat gun really speeds up the process, especially if you're doing a lot of different like layers, and yeah, it's definitely a handy gadget to have. Sure. It's so satisfying when like the third or fourth coat goes on and it's just like super opaque. It's like the best feeling ever. You're like, oh wow, this looks so good. I don't know. At least I feel that way. Right, so those were all of the time lapses that I did. So I hope you enjoyed them. But yeah, that brings us up to where I am right now on it, which is just doing all the detail work. So I was just thinking about kind of hanging out, talking, working on it. I think I'll do that for a little bit longer while I just kind of work on camera here and talk. And then I'll reposition the camera or something like that, because I know it's a little hard to see right now, especially like if I'm working on this side, you're just seeing this side. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really liking how this shoe is coming together. I think that's pretty fabulous. Pretty darn fabulous. So. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to take like just a couple minutes to reposition the camera so that way you can actually see what I'm working on as I'm working on the detail work. So give me like a couple minutes and I will be back. So yeah, I will kind of just be repositioning everything. So give me just a few and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm pretty much back now. I've repositioned my camera so you actually can see like what I'm working on. So thank you so much for your patience on that one. I feel like I have no space today to work. All right, that way at least you can see, you know, a better angle of what I'm working on. And I'm also gonna reposition light. Okay, that way I have a little bit more light to work with. And yeah. Then I'm also going to move some other things around here. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's much better. So you can definitely see a lot better what I'm working on. So there's just a lot of cleanup work to do today. So I'm just gonna be working on that. If you have any questions, shoot them to me in the chat. Just say hi. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, let's get the rest of this touch-up work going. I'm working on the green right now, and I have just like a couple different spots that really needed filling in. And I think I'm just kind of going through and I'm taking a look to see if there's anything else I need to do on the green before I move on to probably doing the black touch up, and then I think I might end with the purple. Why that order? Well, I started with the green first because I feel like there was a lot to fill in and to correct on the purple. So that's why I decided to start with touching up the green first to kind of clean up the lines and things like that. So hopefully you have a good view on this. And again, like, I mean, I feel like these shoes from afar, if I was wearing them, they would look fine. But I really want them, like if I take them off and somebody's holding them and like this close to them, I want them to look phenomenal. Because that is my crafting standard. I think I'm kind of done with the green right now. And the reason why is that like I have a lot of like overbleed. Like for example, you can see right here, like on this one, I don't know if you can see that, but like there's a decent amount of overbleed. And so I've already filled in the green, but if I go in and I do the black now, it's really gonna crisp up that line. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna move on over to the black and clean up as much as I can. And then I still have purple and the reddish pink to do. And then I also have a piece of tape because like I said, there's definitely some areas that still have like the residual tape and stick on it. So I just kind of keep a piece of tape close to me. So I'm gonna use the Angelus black. Have a bit of that. All right. Let's see some magic happen. What's really nice about the black for the touch-up work is that because it's so dark, it does a great job of like almost in a single pass. The touch-up work just a single pass, and it's enough it gives really great coverage, right? Because it's a dark color, the coverage happens really quick. So it's a very satisfying color to do touch-up work with. Yeah, so you can see like it's just like, for example, I'm gonna hit this little guy right there, and you'll see how it really cleans up that line. So hopefully you can see that, like it just really, see how it cleaned up that line really good? That's what I love about coming in and doing like all this detail work, is it just makes everything really pop. And then sometimes the overbleed is such that I can't always see what's happening. So I have my old kind of these stencils that I sometimes will hold up to be like, oh, what is the design supposed to be doing here? I just could not tell what was happening over here. These little points over the over all the stitching definitely gets a little messy. Sorry, sometimes I have to take it into my lap because that is just the angle I need to be at to get that detail work. Yeah, so you can see like it's really cleaning up that area of the toe because it just, yeah. Touch-up work can be kind of tedious, but it's worth it. And I don't know if you can see, but when I have to do like a little bit straighter of a line, like I'm resting my pinky, so like my pinky's resting to allow me to have like a really clean, kind of straight, make a straight line, because it's really hard, at least for me, to like freehand straight lines. And then I don't try to do like a full drag. I do like little, I don't try to do a full drag. I just do like little marks. Because I find that that is a much better way to deposit the paint on here. While still getting a clean line. I have some like really fine tweezers, because sometimes like these joints, like this paint is just kind of like built up in there. You see why this is kind of like late night chill work. Because it's just slow and steady. know I'm jumping around. Well, I have the big brush. I had some of the paint come up on the swoosh. Swoosh is looking a little bit better now. I'm gonna do this swoosh, and then since I can't remember where the paint might be wet, I'm gonna use the heat gun to make sure everything's dry. The last thing I want is to go put my finger in something I just touched up. Which that wouldn't be the first time. And because like this is just touch-up work, like I don't want like super thick globs happening. Nobody wants that. So. There are definitely some areas like here that like the color got up onto the swoosh. Heat gun it up because I do want to dry whatever I've been painting because I have a fear that I'm going to stick my finger in something here soon. And I'm not going to like that. noticed there was some leftover decal vinyl goop, so don't really want to paint over that. Sometimes I think I by accident do that, and then you just want to try to get it up and not paint over it by accident. It'll never look right underneath paint if you don't pull that up. Interesting this last week. Like, I kind of mentioned I wanted to talk about, some of the emotions that I was feeling, because, it's like so often I sometimes feel like, even though like when I make stuff and I'm being creative, like that really grounds me, and it really helps me kind of move through whatever it is I'm experiencing in life, because I am able to get lost in it. I'm able just to kind of like calm my body and calm myself and calm my mind when I do this kind of work. And yet it's really interesting because I still fight the feeling of wanting to sit down and make stuff. And so like this last week was one of those weeks where, I was getting angry with myself because I just wasn't able to show up on stream. And at the same time, though, like I allowed myself to feel those feelings while saying, how can I do it different? And that's why I did the time lapse. And I still showed up and I worked, and it was actually really therapeutic with like the week. It was kind of a stressful week, and I just had a lot of things going on. And, being able to show up and just like work on a project and say, okay, I've had a busy day, but I'm going to just sit down at the end of the evening, stick the camera on, do a time lapse, and just work for like an hour or two and veg out, watch a movie, listen to music while I work. It was just really therapeutic this week. So, and I don't know why sometimes I fight that feeling. Like many times I start to get frustrated, or, I don't know why I have frustration a lot. I think it's because I just have a really high standard for myself. And I never think that like what I'm doing is good enough. And so that I think causes extra stress. But when I just kind of say, no, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work, man, does it really just help, because, it's really not me to judge like the quality of what I do. I just have to like put my best stuff out there and just really enjoy the process while I do it. So I don't know. I think even though I wasn't on stream this last week, I feel like it was a win for me. It was a win week for me. Because most weeks, like, I wouldn't even show up. I just would be like, oh, I can't work this week. I can't make stuff this week. But I'm proud of myself that I still showed up and I worked on stuff. So yeah, if you've ever had that same feeling as somebody who likes to make stuff, or maybe has side projects that you do, and you sometimes just aren't able to get to them, I don't know. I'd love to know how you handle it, kind of like how you listen to yourself in terms of, listening to what your creative side wants or your project side wants, and how you kind of handle that. I'd be curious to know. I feel like it's hard to show you what I'm working on here. Yeah, that's an angle that's not going to work for me. Sorry. Oh, I can work over here. I think this time I just put the stencils in a lot of complicated spots, which is why it just feels like so much bleed on a lot of these. Like you can see, I don't know if you can see that red, but like, do you see how unclean that line is? So watch, I'll clean it up and then we'll see. It's already getting cleaner. See that? Yeah. That looks better. Much better. That's pretty much all I do all over the whole shoe. Find these really jaggedy lines. And it doesn't take, like I said, a lot, especially with the black. I don't know if I can give you guys a better... No, I'm not gonna move it. Sorry. Don't drop the shoe. I think it's back is getting cleaned up. I cleaned up a little bit of the Nike stitching there too. I move on to another section, let's heat this up a bit so I don't mess up what I just did. You know, working with the black is actually, I think black is really the thing. I filled in a lot of the green spots that didn't have enough paint, but then I think just working with the black, it's really cleaning everything up. So I think I'm almost done here, y'all. There's not much else to do on these guys. Yeah, that cleaned that up right there. Woo. Looks really good. Yeah, it's coming together. You know, it's like once I start to round the end and it's like, okay, the cleanup is happening, I get so happy. Y'all have seen me get super happy on camera when something like I pull up a stencil and it's a really clean line. I think that's what's so interesting about like when you make stuff, that you're gonna have up and downs, right? Like sometimes you're like, oh man, it doesn't look exactly the way I wanted, but then you kind of just like keep working it and it just keeps coming to life until you're happy with it. And I think that's what's so cool about making stuff. Like you're totally in control of the end product. Oh, this has some stickiness and I don't want to paint over it. The stickiness is on the laces or on the stitching. It's kind of hard to see. When the stitching is on the cow. It looks really good up in that area. So, okay, so I'm gonna take a look. Now that I'm working on the black, like it's cleaning up a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Because I feel like it really was just like some of the areas that I needed to touch up with black to really make this come together. And I thought there was actually a lot more work to do. But we almost done. Yeah, I think I put the stencils in very difficult spots. Okay, so this purple, you can see it's not clean like at all, right? It looks very, what's happening here? Let's clean that up with some black. Let's see how crisp we can get it. I just had like a lot of areas where like you had the fine points of the pattern going like coming up and over edges, and I think it just on this shoe it just got a little ambitious. Oh man, what a difference that makes, right? Like, what a difference that makes. Yeah, that looks a lot better, huh? Like, that looks way better. You actually can see the definition of that area. So, super happy with that. I'm gonna hit it with some hot air. And then you can see right here on the toe, I'm gonna clean that up so you kind of can see the before. And let's clean up those jaggedy lines. Look at that. It actually looks like the design now. Instead of a random version of it. It's looking pretty good. Like, as I clean up the outside of the purple, the rest of the purple's looking pretty good on the shoe. I don't think there's a ton else to do. I'm gonna go ahead and work on this, because remember, that goes black. And I think once that's done, so remember I had cut this piece to fit underneath here. And I can't remember. Oh yeah, I want it to go underneath both of the stitchings. Yep. Okay. Right, so it's there protecting, and then I remember I had put some tape down to protect the rest of the tongue. I had wedged. I'd pulled it forward and put some tape down to help minimize any bleed. And all I'm doing is like pulling the fabric to expose like underneath the stitching to get the tape like under the stitching just a little bit. Okay, so I remember I used my flathead, and I still have some black that's mixed up with the Too Soft. So you want to use Too Soft when you're doing anything on fabric, and so I still have some of that here. So I remember just like a little bit goes a long way because it bleeds pretty good. Just adding, like I add just enough for it, just like I don't really go straight up to the edge because it's gonna bleed because it's more liquid. It's just gonna naturally flow to the edges of the fabric. I don't have to feel like, oh, I have to get right up to the edge. use the too soft. I'm gonna let that dry a bit. And then there's a couple spots along the fabric here on the liner that I know like got just like a little bit of color. So I'm just gonna hit that with the black with too soft just to cover that over, because we don't want that to show up. We want it to be nice and black. So yeah, just hitting that with some too soft to cover that up. And that's the only spot that I got some paint on. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And again, I'm just trying to protect the tongue as much as possible on this. And I have the heat down pretty far away because I don't want this plastic to melt. I'm gonna have to let that sit for a little while and everything, but the tongue is pretty much done. And you can see it on, well, see it on this shoe as well. But yeah, the tongue's pretty much done. Okay. I think I did not think the touch-up work would be so quick. Yeah, super happy. Super happy. I think, I mean, I have to let this dry, but for the most part, these are done. Yay! Yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna say that mission complete, project complete. So I will. All right. So kind of a random view here, but yeah. So I'm super excited. They are pretty much done. I'm super happy about them. Yay! I think that they look great. I'm really excited to wear them. So I will give like a final, I will be doing a photo shoot with them. So like you'll get to see like them completely laced up and everything like that. But yeah, they are, HKSs are done. Super excited. I'm gonna clock it at maybe about 45 hours in total for everything. Maybe adding a little extra time here and there, but I think for the most part, yeah, like 45 hours. Not too shabby. I'm super happy. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, for coming along, for being with me on this ride. I think that is just super cool. So yeah, I'm really happy. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of a break because I just had some things going on. So I will be probably adjusting my streaming schedule, but I will be back in mid-August. So just look to my YouTube channel to see when my next stream is going to be and what it's on. I do have another pair of sneakers that I'm going to be doing that my husband has designed. And then I also have a lot more photography work that I am in the process of getting ready to stream and show you as well. So yes, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you showing up. I was gonna say 45 hours, and I think it was probably about 13 days in total I've been working on these shoes. So yeah, thanks for joining me on these customs, and be paying attention for my next video as well as my next stream, and I will be doing a photo shoot with these. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Like I said, mid-August. I will see you in mid-August. Thank you so much, and yeah. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you, bye.